Mr. Lynch, life's always been high forever. Good morning, Miss Simple, Miss Simple, or simply, 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 not Lynch. It's February 9 or 9th, sorry, 19th, it's February 2026, and it's Monday in Naples. Today, it seems totally cloudy. Yes, white cloudy sky, perhaps let's say grey, but generally white cloudy, and it's don't so still now. At the same time, with the wine, cold and heavy considered in period, rocks more heavy than cold. Generally, this is wine, and it's early after 13 and 43 minutes. 59 Fahrenheit, 15 Celsius, this means this is really cold, like Nisi Piros, fact, classic adjectives for winter period, and starboards for a single, because in the fact, China, and for a 17, is fact, really welcome to a sort of parts called Last Pass Summer, Jan, Summer, Last Pass Summer, as Raps, no, remember if you follow with me, Mungas Pass Summer, I think, body, so that the reading will come for years as regarding autumn house for the winter, come them, and to be as an example 21, in particular, 16 of 4 and 3 p.m. in Italy, however, as Raps, no, remember if you body, so body, which means supposed to I'm sure, twice a day, I'm seeing so sim, so sometimes my purpose, in fact, the question to which means it's better perhaps for me. Then the risk in the collaboration for the spring, the summer Newton's faculty spring is also soft for the summer, registered for the once again, soft superstars in general, for this is a bit as you and as you got the degrees. And as you got the degrees, at least me also, I think it's absolutely incomplete better. No, in this period, not because it's winter, it's cold, so we complain and we should complain. At when in the sentence, absolutely we can complain. I'm referring to always refer to in particular for this period, the fact that I think the fact that I don't feel cold better, feel cold less. The other people, thanks to series for brackets, better two brackets, I follow the news in some years, which I will start to cold. And two brackets, yes, and when it comes winter period, the winter period, I was at the community which is being utilizzed su Brax, in this case I wrote it in the first part of this community with an asterisk, so if someone is interested in utilizzare su Brax, in this case I repeat this first part, first community with an asterisk, so I know for some people from it, I think they I know for some people from it, I think or not, because the fact I feel cold, I think or yes, I don't know, it depends on them. Or I think 95% I feel cold. However, in general, in some way for me also good. Instead, Matt Scott was enjoyed. I think I can see something just for me. It's bad. Artistic can be feeling some difficulties. Ingeri after I think at around 6 services just before 59 Fahrenheit 15 Celsius. At important that must be anticipated. It's before the visa. Yes, si continua su una di queste corte in genere, se mi pensate per siamo esperti, si suppose fa che sono stati andare a Sky, evitato dalle 4 cloudi, considering the trend of the cities according to the ratings, the ratings, I think that it's almost sure that late in the afternoon, so obviously the afternoon might became dark and bigger, and also that material better see that we have rain because I think we're really close to rain in general. Let's see what happens. At su esempio, sicuramente magician su wizards, si fa sulissimo, inizia che come scrive vedere chi ha, lettere band, so si from. quindi nuovi cortini in frase, un frase, mix di cortini, stanno provando a mettere sembrano sul barfi, abbiamo spazio vedere per te. Essa, to deep and only for sono esiste paio sport paio cortini, beautiful grey cortini, beautiful painted with branches, but deep and the passage. Sono un cortino, fanno paio cortini, nothing ready to mettere. Three days che sono una come secondo me should be point to the first one, per fortuna come one of them. I don't know if you can see on a test read well of the shot near me, for little think yes. Perhaps from a little think yes. See, the game flash, long flash, make 10 plans. No, if not, even better, surely better, se riesci a trovare questo altro video, which Varusha should you do at the scatter stranger in classic medical window, the classic medical room, so absolutely the social medical window, the other medical room, in the other medical room. Or also, from a broader perspective, also from the other particular shot similar to classic project film of Interseul, fra Twister Lino November 162, vabbè, troviamo exact, but surely more Interseul. As for the previous curtain repeat, beautiful grey curtain, beautiful painted benches, perhaps also for the first curtain, you stroke the parts of Carrera curtain, if you remember exactly, surely. Carrera curtain is still in covering in channel, one year, 7 damage to it, but I was saying. This is shot, so rated, effect what for the reason the ground is shoot and also when there is but more when there is kiss measure. Unless you read a little speech of center, also in case for the scrutiny repeat, beautiful curtain, beautiful the measures, also in case for the first certain and the story of the best color curtain, if you sing it and remember exactly. And now I see already to also in case for this curtain, sorry but repeat expression in case for 5 times. Yes, this little speech of sentence, you see this, but also always. But also always better visible for me in sentirity green shot at sequence mythical legend shot. Si ricorda che lo shooter mi ha detto che non ti visimo festa di ottobre, si porta intorno si porta se tu su dei not visible and now si read the speech sentence su the routine so it was one those for it so repeat once again but also always better visible for me it's entity in this shot at sequence mythical Johnny shot. And finally from a medieval keyboard AGX 1640 APG 625 also in case of me Johnny shot. because yes, there's also a new shot related to the actual condition of the keyboard since practically December 2nd 2024, and since that there is no light practically, and so but this is a short film dove secondo pratically subire 16 secondi, it was January 24th. Mettiamo le people follow the process greeting the weather. Sono buone mi sistema. Su myself the Raso schiesa and finally I hope you all have a great breakfast. Dates yes late in general also massive come si late information for us not to me because many beings since last December 31 and that occasion fact for the first time it's late in general. Late bawol for the record but not at all in fact for us. So for us in this video so kind of nomadic breakfast in this house at 7 minutes late. But bawol important to fare from the reaction so non di tutto sono fa con Max Celentano sempre sta suite Celentano in parte mettere sposi yes finché tre con i sei sono 3 su ragione the repeat close the record little so nice intimamente meno more than yes just before era just roll over just in quarter 43 minutes not the important thing is to remember that in some way also today fortunately I'm really hungry and as we always say breakfast most beautiful for what absolutely. As you know, since most of you but si può think more than 1 year, as I always lost to go to think like effect of the X formalism, also the new reason perhaps but the month better say the X formalism, the fifth anniversary of the bots, it was a beautiful red, black and so white, that fifth model combined universe for some aspects. It remember to me the first reason, the second story, the report, all things that perhaps not they follow me. The fact particular Friday, so the report think nobody, so nobody as many videos, watch my videos in general. But repeat this should be the time period, and the premise you get 1 day or 1 time, so 9 times, but you better visit to just started with these things, I mean, this pitch, and for example, short time, you need to joke with you, but must me on some soon, for example, biscuits, and the fact, membri sul combo, su biscuits, and see us, think tournaments, fantastic times, biscuits, a chocolate chip cookies, cookies, chips, chocolate, or chocolate chips. And if I had to mistake, just for biscuits, Mr. Lynch. But in particular, I think that I really would say red and easy festivals about milk fact fresh shot negative coffee, but also quick shock, in fact, students for shot fragment video, so shot, if I think last 781 sessioni si chiesa allo sotto punto ci mette di Piras and touch penso io, dopo Solomon is quick to finish the analysis, once having brought it to 220, 21 bases, so si chiesa allo sotto punto ci mette di Piras and touch penso better, so since that month 3 I bought insert it once again the milk, so very good news. Un Odyssey fake news breakfast, questa bomba si ispira in particolare mega bomba, e si pensa, in questi casi, last period è gioco su, perché basta mania su, of course mi film to first time su that period, and if it's a problem su, toll, e cosa breakfast, su, mega bomba. The second thing is about CS fact, and if there are other CS the cone and the serials, in esatto questa position, perhaps also che segue with the PAM at the first position, but in general, sembra presa position. Because altra che si presa position for me Italian PAM dark chocolate chips, just always I try to command them because they are really super bad. Adesso, tomorrow is supposed to fare un telefono, non ti tomorrow tutto quello che lepe. Ma uguale sì.